So it was brutal performances from the rookie quarterbacks from the 2021 class. It is the Locked On NFL podcast. Thank you for subscribing, watching on YouTube, and the wild week 3 action. The early games, I think, was rounded out by a huge win on the road for Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers, holding off Patrick Mahomes and sending him to a big loss. And I think this has got to be the first signature win for your offensive rookie of the year, your reigning offensive rookie of the year, Justin Herbert. We bring on, of course, from Locked On Chargers, our guy, David Droegemeier. David, thanks for joining me. And let's, right out of the gates, answer that question for me. Is this Justin Herbert's first signature win of his young career?
Yeah, no, there's no question about it. It absolutely is the signature win of Justin Herbert's career, going into Arrowhead week 3, against the Patrick Mahomes led Chiefs, one of the best teams in the NFL, a team that's dominated the AFC West for the last 5 years. And yes, there's no other way around it. You go into a hostile environment with a raucous crowd, and you go out and you get one of the biggest wins of your career. Ballsy calls by Brandon Staley, some money throws by Justin Herbert, and that defense did just enough. They put a blanket on that coverage, and they didn't let Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce beat them, and that's how you get it done. That's how you get a huge, huge win.
Yeah, definitely want to talk more about Herbert's performance because it was unbelievable. He outdueled, the greatest quarterback on the planet. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, at least as far as Sunday goes. But the defense also benefited from some turnovers. And is that something that Staley brings to this defense, or did they just kind of, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he coughs the ball up in a key situation. I mean, your thoughts on them kind of forcing a couple of fumbles and interceptions from Mahomes?
If you're going to beat this Chiefs team, you have to turn that team over. There's no other way around it. You have to take as many possessions away from that offense as possible. And the Chargers were able to do that. And yes, Brandon Staley is a very opportunistic defense, but that's because he puts his stars around the ball. He wants them to be where the action is. And the Chargers went into this game and they took the ball away. And they did it in different ways. They get the forced fumbles by Tavon Campbell. They get 2 other interceptions, another interception for Asante Samuel Jr., the rookie second-round pick. And then you get another interception by Alohi Gilman. I mean, it was crucial because the Chargers scored 21 points off of turnovers in this game. And you don't win this game if you don't turn the Chiefs over. The Chargers were able to do that. Very uncharacteristic by the Chiefs, but the Chargers took advantage.
Bo Brock, David Droegemeier, of course, Locked On Chargers here on the Locked On NFL podcast. And, last year it seemed like heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. You weren't on the winning side of these games last year. Is this just Justin Herbert, his 4 touchdown passes, his play, his poise down the stretch? Was it just, him changing that narrative with the big W on the road, one of the most hostile environments in the NFL?
It definitely is. I mean, last year, call it what you will, the Chargers were able to come back in a lot of those games towards the end of the year, and they end on a pretty good winning streak. And then they take that into this next season. They go to Washington, across the country. They get a big win in their first game. A little bit of a letdown, obviously, against the Dallas Cowboys with all of those penalties. But you come back against the Kansas City Chiefs, again going across the country, and just a crazy hostile environment, and you get just a monumental win. To get a win of this caliber against an AFC West opponent early on in the season can absolutely change the trajectory of your season. It can't be understated how important this win was.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Was Staley brought in the defensive-minded guy to combat that offense that the Chargers just beat on Sunday?
Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, Brandon Staley, the defensive wizard coming off of the number 1 defense in the NFL last year with the Rams, taking those concepts. And of course, you'd love to have an Aaron Donald, right? Everyone would love to have an Aaron Donald. Everyone would love to have a Jalen Ramsey. But the Chargers have 2 guys that I would say are pretty close to that. Yeah. I'd say they got Joey Bosa, who in this game, he was hurt and he was battling. I mean, he went out there, he still made impactful plays, still got after the quarterback, made Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, and his contributions were absolutely just critical in this game. It was a game time decision all the way up until just 30 minutes before kick. He goes out there, gives it everything he has, and that's what it takes when you're going up against a team like this. That's what it takes to beat a team like this.
Yeah, it was an impressive performance and great to see Derwin James back out there flying around the football field. One of the most versatile, electric football players playing in the league. On that side of the football. On the other side, it's just Justin Herbert's in that conversation, and I just spent a lot of time talking about this recent rookie class. It looks terrible as far as the quarterbacks are concerned. So kind of refreshing to see that Herbert's not suffering from that sophomore slump. And you mentioned a big AFC West game next week. Las Vegas Raiders coming off a big W. Who knew that we were going to be previewing that game with so much early, I know it's early on, but a lot already on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thought that this contest coming up was going to have this much importance. And who saw the Raiders coming in and getting 3 big wins off the bat? I mean, obviously, you take a look at who they played, and they beat some really good teams. But you look at their history too. The Raiders have done this. They've started off hot, and then they've fizzled out throughout the end of the year. So we'll see if they finally have the formula that it takes to win football games in this league. They've started off well. Let's see if they keep it going. That defense still concerns me. The offense obviously is clicking on all cylinders. That's what this game's going to be about. 2 high-powered offenses going head-to-head.
Yeah, he's breaking it down. Of course, David Droegemeier unlocked on Chargers all week, previewing the 2-1 Chargers. The Bolts taking on the undefeated Silver and Black. Can't wait to hear that. Check him out on Twitter at DRO Talk SD, Dro Talk on Twitter. David, thanks so much, man.
Well, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.